If money really did grow on trees, what would everyone's favorite season be? Fall. Money. What is money? Money is a mere belief which is valued and used as a medium of exchange for goods and services. Money can be in any of these forms, namely coins, printed papers, digital format. But then why do we say money is just a belief? Okay, let's imagine this scenario. If we are given a random piece of paper and are asked to buy something out of it, is it possible? Clearly not. This paper will hold value only if you can buy goods and services from it. A random piece of paper which is cut in the dimensions of a currency and it's of the same color will not be able to buy you any kinds of goods or services. But with the help of this paper, or to be precise with this currency, which is universally accepted as a medium of transaction, we can do that, right? That's correct. So we can say that money in general is a belief. Okay, let me ask you a question here. What do you think? Is money in the economy fairly distributed? No, it's not. And why can we say so? Because we know that some countries are rich while some are poor. So the obvious question anyone would ask is that why can't the countries having less money print more money and become rich? No, they cannot. And why is that so? Let's understand that. One-word answer to why a country cannot randomly print any amount currency is inflation. Now hold on. What is inflation? Let's understand this term with the help of an example. Here are the prices of 1 kilogram of onions over a period of time. And what do we observe here? We observe that the prices are increasing over the years. That is, for 1 kilogram of onions, a person had to pay 20 rupees in the year 2014, but for the same 1 kilogram, the person paid 80 rupees in the year 2018. The important thing that we need to note here is the value of money. Notice that it has decreased over a period of time. Confused? Don't be. Let me elaborate. In the year 2014, if you had 20 rupees, you could easily buy 1 kilogram of onions. Okay, but what about in the year 2018? That's correct. You can buy only 250 grams of onions for 20 rupees. And that means if we calculate the value of the same 20 rupees in terms of percentage, then it's reduced by 75% with respect to onions in 2014. So can we say that the buying power of the consumer is reduced? Yes, it has. This is nothing but inflation, where the prices of the goods or services increases over a period of time. When inflation is calculated in terms of percentage, it's called the rate of inflation. Now you may be thinking, how is inflation related to printing of money? Hang on. To understand this, we need to know an important concept called the GDP that helps in deciding how much money should be printed. And what is GDP? It's the gross domestic product of a country. It's the total monetary value of all final goods and services produced within a country during a period of time, generally 1 year. Let me explain this. If we add up the value of goods like food grains, vehicles, clothes, etc., and services like consultancy, internet, entertainment, etc., what we get is nothing but GDP. Simple, right? Knowing this, a country generally prints money which accounts to a small percentage of the GDP. Now, you may ask, why only a small percent? Let's understand this with an example. Now, imagine a seller has 10 apples, and to buy these apples, the buyer has in all $10. This means the price of one apple would be $1. Now, what if the buyer has $10 more to buy the same 10 apples? The price of each apple would be now $2 as the buying power has increased, but the quantity of apples has remained the same. The seller can demand more money as he knows that the buyer would be able to pay more. Did you get any hint? The value of money decreased here. That's because for the same $1, the buyer cannot buy an apple now. Thus, to maintain parity, it's imperative that the total amount of money should be in proportion to the goods available. Similarly, what if the country randomly prints money and floats it in the market as compared to its GDP? Yes, exactly. The prices of the commodities or services would shoot up. And do we know what happens when the prices of the commodities or services shoot up? That's correct. It results in inflation. And when the prices skyrocket, it leads to hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is a situation where the rate of inflation is more than 50% in a month over a period of time. For instance, take the price of a loaf of bread over months in case of hyperinflation. Scary, isn't it? In short, printing more money would lead to an increase in the prices, bringing the situation back to square one. Thus, it would do more harm than good, right? Now let me ask you a question here. Are the nations dealing with hyperinflation? Yes, there are a few nations. One of them is Zimbabwe. The country went on printing money, ignoring productivity, unemployment, and poverty. You would be stunned to know that the rate of inflation in Zimbabwe was 79.6 billion% month on month in the year 2008, which means a loaf of bread could cost you different denominations of Zimbabwean dollar each time you went out to buy one. So what did the country do to cope with the hyperinflation? It went on printing more money in different denominations of Zimbabwean dollar even when the country's productivity wasn't doing that great. This led to too much money chasing fewer goods, resulting in hyperinflation. The sad part is that the country is yet to come out of hyperinflation. Now, why don't you search for other nations which are suffering from hyperinflation and share your findings in the comment section below. So coming back to printing of money, to avoid all such circumstances, the government considers a small percent of GDP and also checks rate of inflation before printing money. Okay, now you may ask, why doesn't any country just go on printing currencies and import all the necessary goods? Is that even possible? Well, it's not. And that's because when imports of a country are greater than the exports, then the value of its currency would start declining. And this again will lead to inflation. So can any country print excessive money? Definitely not. Now moving on, let's look at what we had told you about money in the beginning. We had told you that money is a mere belief and it's widely accepted in terms of coins, printed papers, and in digital forms. We know that the currency was introduced due to the lack of practicality of the barter system. Do you think currency in these forms would also be outdated someday in the future? What will be the future of money? Is it going to be the same that we're using now? We hope you've heard about cryptocurrencies. Will cryptocurrencies be good transition from money that we're using today? What do you think? Let us know your interesting answers in the comment section below. And also, do share this video with your friends if you find it helpful. Happy learning!